Former New Japan star and brother of several members of the existing Bloodline, Hikuleo reportedly has officially joined WWE. Speaking of the Bloodline, they laid out both Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens last night on SmackDown. Bayley destroys Tiffany Stratton's Money in the Bank briefcase. Logan Paul vs. LA Knight is made official for the United States Championship at SummerSlam. New graphics debuted last night on SmackDown. Chris Jericho techs mid-match and also wins a match on AEW Rampage. Saraya says that AEW can't do anything to keep her off AEW All In at Wembley Stadium. The brand new AEW International Champion MJF is making his way to CMLL. Mariah May, the debut of the Glamour Mariah May, will come next week on AEW Dynamite. Plus, several matches have been announced for AEW Collision. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about Hikuleo officially putting pen to paper, according to reports, with World Wrestling Entertainment. Undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes was on SmackDown last night, presumably, again, with this feeling of impending doom that came later on the show when it came to the Bloodline. Now, when it comes to the Bloodline, it looks like there could be more names being added to the faction in the near future. In June, Bodyslam reported that former New Japan Strong Openweight Champion Hikuleo was finishing up with New Japan Pro Wrestling and was probably WWE bound. On Friday, Fightful Select confirmed with WWE sources that indeed Hikuleo has reached a deal with the company, finally making the long-rumored move official. Of course, he's widely expected to join the Bloodline alongside his brother, Tama Tonga, and their adopted brother, Tanga Loa, with whom he previously teamed with in New Japan Pro Wrestling as the Gorillas of Destiny faction. Fightful wasn't able to confirm a start date for Hikuleo, but WWE has seemingly not been in a rush to introduce new members of the Bloodline immediately after they've signed, as demonstrated by the debut of Jacob Fatu months after he joined WWE. Fightful also confirmed that WWE was interested in Hikuleo as far back as January 2023, but the company's informal hiring freeze resulted in him signing a one-year contract extension with New Japan Pro Wrestling that expired last month. In addition to his reign as the New Japan Strong Openweight Champion, Hikuleo is also a former Strong Openweight Tag Team Champion and IWGP Tag Team Champion with his partner El Fantasmo. Like Tama Tonga, he is the son of former WWE star Haku. So what are your thoughts on Hikuleo joining WWE? When do you think he will make his debut? Let me know your thoughts about that one as well. Now, speaking of the Bloodline, of course, they've been running roughshod over SmackDown in recent weeks. And to kick off last night's episode of SmackDown, a combat sports star turned up to help Cody Rhodes fight off two opponents. In the opening segment of SmackDown, Cody Rhodes was addressing last week's attack on himself and Randy Orton by the Bloodline. However, his message for Solo Sikoa was interrupted by Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. They blamed Rhodes for Theory being attacked by Jacob Fatu on his way to the ring last week before the Bloodline's main attack on Rhodes and Orton. When the former WWE Tag Team Champions would eventually descend towards the ring, Cody was outnumbered. However, after boxing star Terrence Crawford was earlier shown on camera at ringside, he would end up dropping a big assist to the American Nightmare. After Crawford handed Rhodes a steel chair, the undisputed WWE Champion was easily able to fend off the precarious pairing of Theory and Waller. This then led to a main event match that involved some Bloodline interference once more. After Cody Rhodes and surprise tag team partner Kevin Owens picked up a victory over former WWE Tag Team Champions A-Town Down Under, the two were on top of the world. Just a few minutes later, Rhodes found himself put through an announce table and Owens had a crushed windpipe and the Bloodline stood tall with their fingers in the air. Rhodes called upon Owens to humble A-Town Down Under after the latter blamed Rhodes for the Bloodline's recent assault on Randy Orton. The two corrected the narrative with a victory over the former tag team champions, but their post-match celebration was short-lived as the Bloodline made themselves known. Rhodes dove over the top rope in a blaze of fury to knock over Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. Tonga Loa attempted to engage with Owens, but the prize fighter overpowered him and joined Rhodes' fight against Sikoa on the outside. For a moment, it seemed that Rhodes and Owens were prepared to flip the script on Sikoa, but before the two men could put the new tribal chief through the announce table, Jacob Fatu attacked Owens. Sikoa and Tonga restrained Rhodes and forced him to watch as they did with Randy Orton last week, as Fatu smashed Owens with a series of hip attacks in the corner. things truly unraveled for the American Nightmare and the prize fighter when recent history repeated itself. With the help of his family, Sikoa lifted his SummerSlam opponent onto his shoulders and drove the undisputed WWE champion through the announce table. Owens attempted to keep fighting, but his resistance led to a steel chair collar and being thrown chair first into the ring post. Friday night, another broken commentary table marked the Bloodline's recent path of dominance. After disowning Paul Heyman, Sikoa has led his family members in a quest to completely ravage SmackDown, and now he's targeting Rhodes, the one person standing between Sikoa and the undisputed WWE Championship. Now, Tiffany Stratton, of course, missed Money in the Bank, but she may be having a custom briefcase in the near future. Tiffany Stratton may have her sights set on WWE Women's Champion Bayley after winning the Women's Money in the Bank briefcase, but she might want to consider diverting her case occasionally so she can watch her back. During a match between Stratton and Michin on Friday's SmackDown, Bayley managed to get her hands on Stratton's briefcase, succeeding not only in destroying it, but also in distracting Stratton long enough for Michin to get the roll-up victory. Earlier on SmackDown, there was a sit-down interview between Bayley and her SummerSlam challenger Nia Jax. Stratton and Jax have seemingly formed a loose alliance as of late, and Jax accompanied Stratton to the ring for her match with Michin. Prior to the bell ringing, Stratton entrusted the Queen of the Ring to keep her newly won briefcase safe, but Bayley's arrival from the timekeeper's area surprised Jax, who barreled towards Bayley with the briefcase. Bayley countered and sent Jax over the barricade into the timekeeper's area, while Bayley snagged the briefcase herself. When Jax tried to grab her from behind, Bayley clocked Jax with the briefcase, then proceeded to slam it into the edge of the announcer's table while a distraught Stratton yelled for her to stop. The champion, of course, did no such thing, smashing the briefcase into the steel steps before opening it and stomping it. While Stratton was distracted, Michin rolled her up from behind, scoring her first ever singles victory on SmackDown. Reports have also indicated that next week's SmackDown, also taped on Friday night, will see Stratton and Jax team up against Bayley and Michin. Meanwhile, this could be the opportunity for Stratton to give the Money in the Bank briefcase a makeover, which she threatened to do after winning it at the Money in the Bank Premium Live event. Logan Paul vs LA Knight is now official for SummerSlam. After weeks of a rumored showdown between the two, WWE United States Champion Logan Paul will indeed defend his title against LA Knight at SummerSlam, with the match being made official during a contract signing segment on last night's SmackDown. With Paul's last match coming in a triple threat Money in the Bank qualifying match against Knight and Santos Escobar, won by LA Knight, some doubt may have crept into the Problem's mind, since he is devoid of a win of any sort since defending his title at WrestleMania against Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Conversely, Knight has remained just outside of the WWE World Championship mix for most of the calendar year, though he has managed victories against the likes of Ivar and AJ Styles. One has to be thinking, with only 9 matches of any sort in 2024 for Paul, they might be a prime target for a solid contender like Knight, who continues to send the crowd into a frenzy upon his every appearance. The two have never squared off one-on-one, though they have shared a ring on 3 previous occasions: in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match won by Damian Priest at the Money in the Bank PLE back in 2023, in an Elimination Chamber match won by Drew McIntyre earlier this year, and the Money in the Bank qualifying triple threat match on SmackDown just a few weeks ago. Paul's WWE schedule continues to be light, with no in-ring action since that 3-way qualifying match in late June, and only 6 matches in total in 2024. Now, we've been talking quite a lot about graphics recently when it comes to SmackDown, haven't we? And some new graphics debuted last night as the production continues to get upgraded on WWE TV. While subtle production changes have been occurring for months, and some not so subtle differences, such as the single shot entrances that have now become common, there were some new on-screen graphics added throughout the show. A new Tonight's Results graphic recapped the matches that had already occurred and the winners for viewers joining midway through the show. There were also similar still to come on-screen graphics to inform what was left to occur on the show too. What do you make of these graphics, and what do you make of WWE's production in general over the last several months? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Now let's switch gears here and talk about AEW Rampage. The learning tree himself was in action. Chris Jericho is a busy man. On the July 19th episode of AEW Rampage, FTW champion Chris Jericho and Big Bill faced the Outrunners. Big Bill dominated the match, so much so that Jericho pulled out his phone and started texting whilst he was on the apron. In the end, Jericho tagged in and scored the pin to clinch the win for his team. Chris Jericho then celebrated his win, but the entrance of Minoru Suzuki interrupted him. Suzuki then defeated the Butcher in a singles match. Jericho, of course, will defend the FTW Championship against Suzuki on the July 24th episode of AEW Dynamite. Of course, that is the special Blood and Guts edition of the show. Speaking of AEW Rampage, Saraya had some words for All Elite Wrestling. Saraya has said that all roads are leading to Wembley Stadium. In an interview during the July 19th episode of AEW Rampage, Saraya was asked to comment on not wrestling since the AEW and New Japan Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Harley Cameron suggested that it might have been the company's fault as Saraya was busy training, getting ready for Wembley Stadium, and being an unproblematic icon. Saraya stated that AEW was scared of her and the women's roster was terrified of her because she was a living legend. Saraya said that she had a world at her feet in 2023, but now they were just trying to keep her off the show. She stated that they could not keep her off the show and all roads lead to Wembley for her. Saraya made it clear she did not care who she had to step on to get out there. Of course, Saraya previously won the AEW Women's World Championship at AEW All In at Wembley Stadium last year. Now, this is certainly very interesting. The brand new AEW International Champion MJF is coming to CMLL during the CMLL Veneen's E-Spectacular event on July 19th. AEW International Champion MJF appeared in a video message while sitting in a tub. He announced that he would defend the AEW International Championship at the upcoming CMLL event on August 2nd. In the video, MJF said he would take it to the masked morons in Mexico, and he said he was from the only country that mattered, the United States. His opponent was not named in the announcement. Of course, MJF defeated Will Ospreay to win the AEW International Championship on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. AEW stars have been crossing over to CMLL in recent months. Willow Nightingale won the CMLL Women's World Championship at the New Japan CMLL Fantastica Mania USA event on July 13th. Of course, Chris Jericho is set to face off against Mystico at CMLL's 91st anniversary show. MJF has previously said he wanted to compete at Azteca Stadium. Could this be the first path into doing that for the brand new international champion? Now, Blood and Guts, of course, is this coming week on AEW Dynamite, and more segments and matches have been announced for the show, including a new Mariah May. A new Mariah May will debut on the July 24th episode of AEW Dynamite during the July 19th episode of AEW Rampage. AEW announced that the Glamour Mariah May would debut on the July 29th episode of AEW Dynamite. May previously noted that her attack on the AEW Women's World Champion Timeless Toni Storm marked the end of an era. On the July 17th episode of Dynamite, May said that she had been playing Storm, but now she could be so much more. May is set to challenge Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship at AEW All In. Of course, she earned that title shot by winning the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament. Now, finally, AEW Collision is tonight, and interestingly, of course, it's from that arena in Arlington, Texas, the esports arena, as the beginning of the residency in Arlington begins for All Elite Wrestling, and several matches have been announced, including Roderick Strong. He'll be in action tonight on Collision. AEW has announced that Roderick Strong will face Tomohiro Ishii on the July 20th episode of AEW Collision. Strong and Ishii were on opposite teams on the July 19th episode of AEW Rampage, with Ishii teaming with Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly to defeat Strong and the Kingdom. Plus, FTR will also speak for the show. On the show, the match, of course, includes a lumberjack match between Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa. Sky Blue versus Hikaru Shida. Hologram is set to debut. We have an AEW World Trios Championship match as the Bang Bang Gang, that being Juice Robinson and the Guns, will face off against the Patriarchy. That's Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, and Killswitch. Darby Allin will face the Beast Mortos, and those matches that we just spoke about too. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey, guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.